2, 3, 4. I came across a drifting ship. I took a look inside. I found a note that someone wrote that said, take her for a ride. I set a course for sights unseen, went out to open sea. To my surprise, a bunch of sailors joined along with me. Now we're sailing on the mystery ship, and all the sailors here are really here. There isn't any cost membership. All that you gotta do is join our trip. Yeah, I'm the captain of the mystery ship, and I'm a-calling all aboard this trip. I'm really hoping that you'll enjoy it up on the mystery ship. So bring a friend and come along with us aboard the mystery ship.
Ring-a-ding-ding. Ring Ding, ding, it must be that time. Folks, it must be time for the mystery ship. Yes, with your Captain Zoso. I'm happy to join you this Wednesday evening. How's everyone doing out there on the fringes of the net? Am I on camera? I should be on camera. What's going on here? What is going on here? Okay, there I am. I'm over at D Live. I should be showing up at. Yes, I should be showing up over here. Should be showing up over there. Are we live? Yes, we're live there. Very good. Perfect. That's live. This is live. Loving it. Loving it. Are we live at Rumble? Come on, Rumble. Come on, Rumble. Yes, we are live at Rumble. I think we're live at Rumble. I certainly hope we're live at Rumble. Yes, we are. Okay. All righty then. Live at Rumble. We're live at Pilled Foxhole. We're live at The Tube. We are live at D Live, home of the champions. Last but not least, let's get a gander at the Twitch Factor. The Twitch Factor. It would appear we are live at Twitch. Wonderful. Wonderful. Let's give them a little hello, sailors, over there in case anybody drops in. Have to keep an eye on Twitch. I've had people dropping in over there lately when I least expect it. How are you this fine evening? Oh, look at this. I don't even have my black light on. There we go. Now we got some black light going. Black light going. What's going on, my friends? Pleasure to be with you this evening. I don't want you to be disappointed in me. Don't be disappointed in me. I do have a wonderful show for you this evening. I really do. It's one that I actually have had in the can for a while. I've done my research. However, I know that I promised you the other night that tonight would be the battle of the platforms, and that was the intent. I unfortunately have this thing called a job, and once in a blue moon, it gets in the way. It takes me, a little more than an hour to put the contest together. And when the dust settled this afternoon and everyone went home for the day, and I was working on my final report of the day and thinking, oh, I got plenty of time. Everything's good. I don't know where a couple of vehicles show up, and it was the mechanical engineer who had never been to the site yet, and in tow were 3 or 4 others, including the owner, and we spent in excess of an hour going over just some issues, some stuff, walking upstairs, downstairs, all throughout the joint, which by the time they left, I didn't have time to put my contest together. So we will have the contest. We will have the contest Sunday night. Okay? We'll have the contest Sunday night. That one I can promise you. It'll be fun. It'll be a gas. There is no mystery ship this coming Friday night, people. This coming Friday night, I will be playing in a poker tournament. Yes, I will be representing my company. There's a local builders association here in the Rogue Valley, and once a year, they have a big old poker tournament. First prize is $1,500. Zoe wants a piece of that. Zoe wants a piece of that. Anyway, bottom line is that I will be representing my company. And I'm going to bring home the bacon, people. I love a good game of chance, particularly that of Texas Hold'em. That is my baby. I've been playing it long before it was famous and on television, long before the World Poker Tour and all the myriad of freaking poker shows out there. I was playing Texas Hold'em back in the 90s. We used to play it on the road. as construction workers when we were holed up in a hotel just to pass the time. It was much, much more fun than freaking staring into a television. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm excited about that. It's going to be good. So, no contest tonight. Please don't hold it against me. We're still going to have a grand time. We really are. I have a wonderful show cooked up, and you will raise an eyebrow or two during the course of this evening. I promise you. I promise you, you will. It'll be good. Before we get into that, let's have a look around the horn. Let's see who is out there, shall we? It looks as though we have at least a couple people hanging out at Rumble, which is good. I've got a 5x5 over there. That's always a wonderful thing to see. We have got a delightful group of sailors hanging out at Pilled Foxhole. Let's call out some names. Kristen Hudson, what are you doing, little lady? Good to see you. My brother, the Texan, is in the house. Due Diligence is with us. He walked in and brought me a grog, sported me a grog, he did. Good to see you. Girl Patriot in the house. Miss Crazy, hi, everybody. Yes, it's me. Good to see you, my dear. Always a pleasure to have you aboard. Val Hall, what are you doing? Good to have you. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Zoomer in the house. M1911 Zoom. Great to have you aboard. Prairie Fire is with us. How is it going, my friend? Rooster, all the way from Texas. Good to see you, my buddy. Thank you for the support of this program. I saw your little diving in with the gold pills once you walked in the door and spread them all over the floor. Thank you kindly. You are a wonderful friend and a staunch supporter of this program. Thank you kindly. In fact, he gave me the ship. That's nothing little at all. That's a beautiful thing. Thank you, my friend. Much obliged. Much obliged. Well, who else we got hanging out here? Because there's sailors. There are sailors. Joe Elaine, great to have you aboard, darling. Glad to have you with us. Who else we got hanging out around here? Kim, Iowa, in the house tonight. Hope you're doing all right, darling. Good to see you. Always good to see you. Who else we got? A lot of double dippers here. I don't want to miss anybody. All right. I think we've gotten through the Pilled Foxhole roster over there. Let's have a gander. Over at YouTube. Yes, Snoitpo. It's been a minute, Mom, brother. How the hell are you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. How's everything going? Let me turn you blue while you're in the hood. Very good. Nice to see you. Mud Rabbit. Wabbit, what are you doing? Hey, look, Emily Gangadine and Sammy the Golden are with us. Pleasure to have you aboard. Pleasure to have you aboard the mystery ship. Those are some of my Frankly friends over there. Rabbit, I hope you're doing wonderfully. Wonderful. Great to see you. Great to see you. Always. Let's see who is hanging out at the home of the champions. The home of the champion. Well, Val Kimber is here. Val Kimber is in the house. Spudley is with us. Good to see you, TL. Black Cat came in spreading the lemon love. Thank you so much, Black Cat. Good to see you. Amethyst Cat is here. She has been giving away more badges. She's been giving away more first mate badges since the moment she showed up. Great to see you. Vault Music in the house. Good to thank you kindly. Thank you kindly for that donation there. You are a welcome sailor. Lynn Winters in the house. Good to see you. Sleeping Star, Shelby. Hope you're doing great. Wonderful to have you aboard. Jayla 17 is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. All the way from New York. PK 1988. How's it going? Good to have you with us. Great to have you aboard. Gloria is no stranger to danger when it comes to donating lemons. I see it a diamond. I'm seeing Lynn Winters and ice creams, Jayla with ice creams, PK with lemons. Thank you all. Thank you all so very, very, very much. Wow. Lynn Winters got a subscription from Val Kimber. That is awesome. Thank you, Val. Thank you so very much. I'm really hoping sometime in the immediate future, the near future, that my friends at D Live, and I'm talking about the people who run the joint, I'm hoping that they're going to read the email I sent them because I begged them. I begged them for help. I said, what's going on around here? Because I changed streaming platforms. I went from Streamlabs to StreamYard. And ever since that day, the title of my program at D-Live never changes. It's frozen. It's locked in for life. I said, how about a little help? Help this sailor out. When I type it in to StreamYards at all of the other locations, it changes like clockwork. But for some reason, D-Live is frozen. I don't know why. Anyway, I'm hoping that they'll answer me. I really am. Zoso, if you use Tidy Labs, you can change it there. What is Tidy Labs? What the hell? You know you're talking to a Luddite, right? Tidy Labs. Is that yet another type of streaming service? I'm going to have to write you an email. I don't even know what Tidy Labs is. We're going to have a dandy of a program tonight. It's going to be a little bit bizarre. The unusual, that's what you've come to expect here at the Mystery Ship, and tonight you will not be disappointed. I have got a bit of the unusual. Again, my apologies for not having the contest tonight. If you're just joining us, yes, normally the last Wednesday of the month, I have a inter-platform contest. It's always a lot of fun. It is a trivia contest, platform versus platform, mano a mano. It was scheduled for tonight. Unfortunately, at the last minute at work, I had a couple of high-ranking VPs show up, and they stole the last hour and a half of my day from me, which did not allow me the time to put together tonight's contest. Anyway, we will be having that this coming Sunday night. This coming Sunday night, we will have the contest. I invite you to be here. It will start at 6 p.m. Pacific. That is Foxhole versus Rumble versus YouTube versus Twitch versus D Live. We're going to see who the new champion is on that day. But tonight, your brother Zoe has a little something cooked up his sleeve. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But before we get to that, we're going to take just a short break. This is a chance for you to refresh your drink, take the dog outside, run in and say hello to whoever you need to run in and say hello to. But when we come back, we're going to launch into it hot and heavy, and I'm very happy to have you aboard the Mystery Ship. It is my pleasure to welcome you. My name is Zoso Dude. Welcome aboard. Whoop. Make sure we've got some volume there. Welcome aboard the Mystery Ship. of those friendly faces. For those of you wondering what the heck that was you just watched, that is some of the people that I've had the pleasure of meeting up with over the last couple of years, riding my motorcycle across country every summer like I do. I am planning yet another trip this summer now that I know I am in good physical form. My trip last year got cut short, and still driving me nuts. I'm kind of working on an interesting route this year. It's going to be kind of an unusual I try to take a different route every year. I want to see the entire country. I want to go places I've never been before. Big on my list are Devil's Tower and most definitely Pikes Peak. I've got to ride my bike over Pikes Peak. I've got a handful more states to fill in here. There's actually only 2 states I haven't been to. That would be North Dakota and Arkansas. I'm going to get both of them this year. I'm going to. But you know what's sad is somehow I have lost 7 of my state badges. I don't know where I've got these special. I want to say this again. I want to thank the unknown sailor. Okay, these tie clasp pins, lapel pins, basically, of all the states. Oh, for crying out loud! Let's show you this side. It's out from behind the microphone. All these different states, like this one, Minnesota, right? This one, Connecticut. When you buy them, they have that little pinchy little clasp. Well, those things never stay. So they do make a very high quality machined little bead that has a micro Allen wrench head in the side. And when you tighten those things up, you're never losing them. Well, what has happened is the plug has stayed stuck, but the badge has broken off the front. So I'm going to be, all it means is I've got to go to those 7 states and get new ones. It's not a problem. I normally run through anywhere between 29 to 35 states every single time I go out. So shouldn't be an issue, but I am going to get those pesky last 2 states that I have not gotten before. And I plan on meeting all kinds of you out there. I'll let you know as it gets closer. My main goal right now is to just finish this freaking job I'm on. Finish the job I'm on, and then get freewheeling. That is the plan, man. Ooh, that's got a little bit too much kick. Let's add some easy stuff in there. Add some easy stuff in there tonight, people. Your brother Zoso is looking at something most unusual. Many, all of us are destined to go one way or another, whether it is kicking and screaming, or going quietly in your sleep, or whatever. One thing is for sure, no one here gets out alive. That's just the way it is. And I was piqued, my curiosity was piqued the other day by, I came across an article, much by accident. And I was intrigued. I really was. It showed a number of celebrities who passed away on their exact birthday. I thought that was a little unusual. So I started looking into other bizarre ways that that people have come, people have gone, unusual things, silly things. And we're going to look at them tonight because there's some very bizarre ones. For instance, all of these very famous people right here died at the dinner table. These people died while at the dinner table. You know, doesn't that just seem a little unusual? I mean, there's a million ways you could go, you know, but dying at the dinner table? That's bizarre. Who who may have died on the well? How about for starters, uh, Pablo Picasso, the famous painter? Let's see. There's an old Catalan proverb that says the table kills more people than war does. And there's certainly plenty of famous food-related deaths throughout history. Monarchs seem particularly susceptible. Let's see. Earliest 12th century King Henry I is said to have died from a surfeit of lampreys, that is, an eel-like fish. One of his successors, King John, was done in by a surfeit of underripe peaches. What exactly is a surfeit? What the hell is a surfeit? I'm pretentious, but I'm not that pretentious. I don't know what a surfeit is. I thought that was like when you hang 10 or something. Let's see. Adolf Frederick was felled by digestive problems after wolfing down a repast of caviar, lobster, herring, and sauerkraut, accompanied by champagne, and finished off with supposedly 14 servings of Selma, a cream-filled bun bathed in hot milk. Most interesting. A few of these unfortunate diners did choke to death. One was shot. One was undeniably poisoned. But all of them succumbed one way or another. Let's see 15 famous people who passed away at the dinner table. One of them was Britannicus. Britannicus. Tiberius Claudius Caesar Britannicus, son of Roman Emperor Claudius, was in line for the throne. Was in line for the throne occupied by the notorious Nero, who played his violin as Rome burned, right? As soon as he became an adult, which at that time the legal age for an adult was 14 years old, according to Roman tradition, Nero couldn't have any of that and engaged the services of the same skilled poisoner who had helped Claudius into the hereafter. According to historian Tacitus, at a dinner party attended by various nobles, the then 13-year-old Britannicus, heir to the throne, was served a hot beverage of some kind. His food taster tried it, and with no ill effects. Can you imagine being so important that you had a food taster at every fucking meal? And can you imagine being a food taster? Like, your job is to find out for your master if the food is poisoned? His food taster tried it, and with no ill effects, but Britannicus asked for it to be cooled down. And the poison-laced cold water was added. That's how they got him. It's always in the cover-up. It was the poison-laced cold water that got him. The effect was instantaneous, and the boy expired. Nero denied responsibility and claimed the boy must have had an epileptic fit. Can you imagine? Okay, so the famous Dutch scientist Tycho Brahe. He was considered one of the founders of modern astronomy, although he worked without a telescope, an instrument not invented until after his death. He didn't exactly die at the table, but He died because he stayed at the table. He stayed at the dinner table. So while seated at a banquet in Prague, he found nature calling. Urgently, I might add. But he refused to get up to relieve himself because he believed it would be a breach of etiquette. When the meal was finally over and he got home, he was unable to urinate. He died 11 days later from uremia, urine in the blood, the result of his ill-advised politeness. You know, if I'm at your house and you are serving me dinner and I get up and I say, I gotta go, I gotta go. Just the way it is. Now, this is an interesting one. Old Tom Parr. Anyone ever heard of Old Tom Parr? So, long celebrated in Great Britain as the world's oldest man, Parr was said to have been almost 153 years old when he died. He was so famous that his portrait was painted by Rubens and Van Dyck, and shortly before his demise, he was brought to London to meet King Charles I. This was unfortunate. The monarch feted him at a banquet, and in the course of which he choked on some food and passed away. Old Tom Parr. Old Tom Parr. Dead Tom Parr, we should call him. Let's see. Wait. This is Denis Diderot. Denis Diderot. I suppose you think he's French. Well, he is. This famed French philosopher and writer, best known for his mid-18th century encyclopedia, was also a noted gourmet. After a large meal at his daughter's home, the story goes, Diderot, who suffered from emphysema, reached for an apricot for dessert. His wife told him he'd had enough to eat, but he scoffed, ate the fruit, and died. Killed by an apricot. That is not the way I want to go. That is not the freaking... I'm sorry, that's not the way I want to go. James Madison. Okay, the father of the Constitution? Yes. Died at the dinner table. Madison, having drafted much of the Constitution and who went on to serve as Secretary of State before becoming the fourth President of the United States, died quietly at breakfast. At the breakfast table on a Tuesday morning at his plantation in Virginia. He was 83, which was, excuse me, wow, that Philly cheesesteak is not settling in too well. He was 83, which is very, very advanced age for that time. Oh, come on. Don't do this to me. I'm in the middle of a show. Apparently, he succumbed to natural causes, but he died at the dinner table. James Madison. Crazy. Crazy. Andrew Sachs. Now, everyone knows about Saks Fifth Avenue. So, in 1902, Sachs and his brother Isidore, who had run a men's store in Washington, D.C., opened Sachs & Company on 34th Street in Manhattan. After the store moved to a new location, it eventually became Saks Fifth Avenue. Andrew didn't live long to see it, though. In 1912, a dozen years before the new store appeared, he died of unspecified causes while eating dinner in a private room at Sherry's, an elegant and expensive New York City restaurant that catered to high society. So it just goes to prove that no matter how big that boat is you float, anything can happen. Anything. King Farouk of Egypt. Now, this is unusual. Farouk the First, second to the last king of Egypt, and the one-time brother-in-law to the Shah of Iran, was a thin boy when he ascended to the throne at the age of 16. By the time he was deposed 16 years later, he was a bloated glutton weighing more than 325 pounds. Despite his girth, he was a notorious playboy and dining with an attractive blonde 20 years his junior at the L'Île-de-France restaurant in Rome when he died. His last meal is said to have consisted of oysters, lobster, cake, and fruit. He was just lighting a postprandial cigar when death struck. Rumors that he was poisoned by Egypt's then president Gamal Abdel Nasser have never been substantiated. Then there's this fellow. You may have heard of him. Crazy Joe Gallo. Crazy Joe. I knew a couple of Crazy Joes in my day. This infamous mafia crime boss, responsible for numerous murders and for lighting a bloody mob of war with the rival Colombo family, was shot to death on his 43rd birthday while eating at Umberto's Clam House in New York City's Little Italy. Clams, isn't that like the third person to die of eating clams or some shellfish? He was dining at 4:30 in the morning with his sister Carmela and his new wife. With his sister Carmela, his new wife, her young daughter, his bodyguard, and the bodyguard's girlfriend, as Gallo was reaching for a second helping of shrimp and scungilli salad. 4 Colombo gunmen entered the palace, riddling him with bullets. Crazy Joe died at the dinner table. Not by choking on something. Jayla says clams are gross. Really? Like, you ever steamed clams in butter? Oh man, I love them. Personally, I love them. Steamer clams. Pablo Picasso. So, the most famous artist of the 20th century, Picasso was still working and planning for a new exhibition up to the day of his death at age 91. Suffering from pulmonary edema, which is water in the lungs, and a heart condition, he succumbed at the dinner table while dining with his 47-year-old wife, Jacqueline Roque. I did not know that Picasso died at the dinner table. Let's see. This man is just not that important, so I think we'll let him roll. And that guy, yeah, we can let him go too. Just not that important. Okay, wait. Okay, here we go. Michael Whitney. Michael Whitney, shown here with the very famous model Twiggy. Michael Whitney and Twiggy. Whitney was a popular movie and TV actor, primarily in westerns, in the 1960s and 1970s. He later married the famous British supermodel Twiggy. He died of a heart attack during an early dinner with their 4-year-old daughter at a McDonald's in New York's Upper East Side. Do I even have to say anything? Does anyone here eat it at the Golden Arches? That right there should send you running. I'm telling you, that should send you running. Let's see. Oh, Arthur M. Schlesinger, The distinguished historian and author Schlesinger is best known for his political writing, most notably the Pulitzer Prize winning book, A Thousand Days, John F. Kennedy in the White House. He and Kennedy were close friends. He suffered cardiac arrest at the age of 89 while dining with family members at an unnamed New York City apartment. New York City restaurant. Why would they not name the restaurant to try to... Now, this is a guy that I've never heard of. Maybe you guys have heard of him. He's a rapper by the name of Prodigy. Someone enlighten me. I don't have the slightest clue who Prodigy is. Anybody out there know Prodigy? Let me know. Sheeple, you don't know who Twiggy was? Seriously? Man, I'm old. I am freaking old. Okay, so half of hip-hop duo Mobb Deep. Never heard of them either. Johnson had long suffered from sickle cell anemia, even writing a song about it called You Can Feel My Pain, while taking part in the Art of Rap tour in Las Vegas with fellow artists Ghostface Killah and Ice-T. Now, I know Ice-T. He became ill and was admitted to a local hospital. Tragically, he choked to death on an egg while eating lunch in his hospital bed. What does that tell you about hospital food, people? Don't. Thank you, Gloria. Thank you. These youngsters. Okay. Well, so there's that. Okay. Now for the bizarre. I promised you we're going to look at some unique and bizarre things because that's what we do here at the Mystery Ship. We look at unique and bizarre things. These are famous people. Hang on just a second. Just a second. I need to move D Live over here because I want to try to read. I do want to try to read the chat while I'm doing this. I do enjoy reading the chat. I try my best to bounce around to all the channels. Texan says, Twiggy, hell, I remember Phyllis Diller. Here's an interesting one, Texan. Do you know that Phyllis Diller, when she was an amateur, a virtual unknown, she appeared on the Groucho Marx program in the 50s? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay, so this is a group of famous people. This is a group of famous people who died in air disasters. This is pretty unusual. One thing just led to another. I started investigating, unusual celebrity deaths and celebrity. I mean, we're going to get into some weird stuff tonight. We're going to get into some weird stuff tonight. So, I hope I say this woman's name. Aliyyah. To me, that is Aliyyah. Aliyyah. She was a trailblazer in the world of music and film, born January 16th, 1979 in Brooklyn. In fact, let me just do this. This might be more fun. It might be more fun if I did it this way. That way I can still read the chat, and you can get a gander at these people. Because some of them, seriously, some of them I don't even know. I don't even know. Maybe you know them. Maybe you know them and can enlighten me. Okay? Aliyyah Dana Houghton, known mononymously as Aliyyah, was a trailblazer in the world of music and film Born January 16th, 1979 in Brooklyn, she displayed an affinity for performing arts from an early age. By the time she turned 10, she'd already performed on the television show Star Search and sang in concert alongside Gladys Knight. Aliyah's career took off in earnest when she signed with Jive Records and her uncle Barry Hankerson's Black Ground Records at the age of 12. Her debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, released when she was just 15, was a commercial success and established her as a rising star in R&B. The album spawned 2 hit singles and was certified double platinum by the RIAA. Her subsequent albums, One in a Million and Aliyah, further cemented her status in the stratosphere. She died in a plane crash. Very sad. Very sad. Now here's a sad one. Everyone knows this one. Everyone knows this fine gentleman. This is John Denver. Come on, shrink for me. John Denver, born Henry John Deutschendorf, Jr., was an iconic American singer-songwriter, record producer, actor, activist, and humanitarian who became one of the most popular acoustic artists of the 1970s. Raised in a military family, Denver's passion for music was sparked at an early age when he was gifted an old Gibson guitar by his grandmother. He adopted his stage name as a tribute to the capital city of his beloved Colorado, a state that often served as inspiration for his music. Denver's career took flight with his first major hit, Take Me Home, Country Roads, which reached number 2 on Billboard's Hot 100 charts in 1971. His subsequent singles, such as Rocky Mountain High and Sunshine on My Shoulders, Annie's Song, further solidified his status as a leading figure in folk rock. Very sad. Very, very sad. I liked John Denver. I really did. Well, this one is for the conspiracy theorists out there. I know there's no shortage of you. That much I know. There's no shortage of you conspiracy types. John F. Kennedy Jr., born on November 25th, 1960. Wow, he was almost my brother's age. He was a prominent figure in American history, not just for his family lineage, but also for his personal achievements and charisma. He was the only son of the 35th U.S. President John F. Kennedy and Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. His birth took place just a few weeks after his father's historic election, making him an immediate national icon. This early public exposure laid the foundation for his future endeavors in media and law. Kennedy Jr. graduated from Brown University in 1983 with a degree in American Studies. He later obtained his Juris Doctor from New York University School of Law in 1989. Despite facing early challenges in his legal career, including failing the bar exam twice, he eventually became an assistant district attorney in Manhattan, serving from 1989 to 1983. He died at the young age of 38 years old. 38 years old. Wow. Wow, that's disappointing. Will Rogers, ladies and gentlemen. Will Rogers. Wow. Mammy. I did not know. I did not know that Will Rogers died in a plane crash. I didn't know this. Wow, we're going to check it out, though. We are going to check it out. So, Will Rogers, William Penn Adair Rogers, was an American stage and motion picture actor, vaudeville performer, cowboy, humorist, newspaper columnist, and social commentator from Oklahoma. That's where Miss 320's from. He was a Cherokee citizen born in the Cherokee Nation, Indian Territory. Known as Oklahoma's favorite son, Rogers was born to a Cherokee family in Indian Territory, now part of Oklahoma. As an entertainer and humorist, he traveled around the world 3 times, made 71 films, 50 silent films, and 21 talkies, and wrote more than 4,000 nationally syndicated newspaper columns. By the mid 1930s, Rogers was hugely popular in the United States, and its leading political wit and the highest paid. Where's the rest of it? Where's the rest of it? Okay, there it is. There it is. The highest paid of all Hollywood film stars in his era. He died in 1935 with aviator Wiley Post when their small airplane crashed. Well, that's so sad. Crashed in northern Alaska. 55 years old at the time of his death. That's very young. Wow. Carol Lombard. I've got to show her picture. Carol Lombard. This was a babe. This was babelicious. Babelicious. I had no idea she died in a plane crash. I really didn't. Wow. Well, wait, what happened? What happened? Here we go. There we are. Come back to me. Carol Lombard was an American film actress. She was particularly noted for her energetic, often offbeat roles in the screwball comedies of the 30s. She was the highest paid star in Hollywood in the late 1930s. Born into a wealthy... Where's the rest of this? Why does it cut off? Hang on a second. Why does it cut off the narrative? What the hell? I'm baffled. Anyway, she died in a plane crash. Very sad. Roberto Clemente. I'm sure many of you remember Roberto Clemente. I remember him as a kid. I remember particularly in the 5th and 6th grade. Roberto Clemente was player. He played on the Pittsburgh Pirates. These are the days when I was like 10 or 11, and baseball was my life. Okay, I had every baseball card to every team. Every team wound up in rubber bands. I had them all. I think there were 24 teams back then in 1970. Anyway, I remember in the 6th grade pretending I was sick so I could stay home and watch the World Series between Pittsburgh and the Oakland A's. You guys remember Catfish Hunter, the guy with a big old... Yeah. Roberto Enrique Clemente Walker was a Puerto Rican professional baseball right fielder who played 18 seasons in the Major League for the Pittsburgh Pirates, inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 1973, becoming the first Latino ever to do so. Died at the very young age of 38 years old. Wow. That's very sad. Otis Redding, sitting on the dock of the bay. Come on now. Otis Redding was an iconic figure in the world of soul music. Born September 9th, 1941 in Dawson, Georgia, raised in a deeply religious family, his love for music was fostered at an early age when he began singing in the Vineville Baptist Church Choir. His early life involved a myriad of jobs, including well digging and gas station attendant, before he found his true calling in music. Wow. I did not realize that he had died in an airplane crash. That's wild. Patsy Cline. Oh, for crying out loud. I'm learning something tonight. Patsy Cline, born Virginia Patterson Hensley on September 8th, 1932, was an American singer considered one of the most influential vocalists of the 20th century and one of the first country music artists to successfully cross over into popular music. Klein recorded several songs that became major hits during her 8-year career, including 2 number-1 hits. I'm sure you all remember Crazy. Wow. Wow. Died in a plane crash. Richie Valens. Oh, my goodness. Richard Stephen Valenzuela, known professionally as Richie Valens, was an American singer, songwriter, and guitarist, a rock and roll pioneer and forefather of the Chicano rock movement. Valens' recording career lasted 8 months and abruptly ended when he died in a plane crash. Wow. Wow. Of course, you know what plane crash we're talking about. Buddy Holly and the Big Bopper. In fact, we're going to get into that in this next. We're going to get into that in this next little look at the unusual, which is these are 10 lucky celebrities. 10 lucky celebrities who avoided disaster. Okay? We just saw 10 celebrities who unfortunately succumbed during a disaster. These right here are 10 lucky celebrities who lived and escaped disaster. On February 15th, Elizabeth Taylor and her husband, producer Mike Todd, boarded his private plane, which he named the Liz. It crashed a month later, killing Todd and 2 others. This is wow. So for almost every famous disaster you can name, there's an equally famous person who, through some lucky quirk of fate, happened to miss the ill-fated boat, doomed plane, mass murder, or other intriguing calamity. Here are 10 examples from recent American history. Admiral Byrd. In August 1921, Richard Byrd was scheduled to join the crew of the new 695-foot-long Navy dirigible known as the ZR-2, departing from Howden, England on a trial flight. But Byrd, later to gain fame as an aviator and the first explorer to fly over the South Pole, missed his train the day before and was arriving late at the airfield. As a result, he was crossed off the crew list. Byrd did, however, have a chance to inspect the huge airship and watched it lift off the next morning. How magnificent she looked, he said. The rosy sunrise tinting her bright sides in a series of soft violet and lavender tints, he recalled in his 1928 memoir. Officers and observers aboard, lines cast off, she rose slowly and with dignity befitting so huge a craft, sailed away into the cloudless sky. A day later, back in London, he learned that the ZR-2 had broken in half, exploded in midair, and crashed into the Humber River near Hull. A total of 44 American and British crew members died. Byrd would live to have other adventures, including 6 pioneering expeditions into the Antarctic. He died in 1957 at the age of 68 at home in bed. At home in bed. Lucky duck. Lucky duck. Kirk Douglas. Kirk Douglas is a man who managed to get out of the wrong place at the right time. In March of 1958, the actor known for his starring roles in movies such as Lust for Life and Paths of Glory planned to join film producer Mike Todd on a trip to New York in Todd's private plane, but his wife objected. As Douglas recalled in his 1988 autobiography, The Ragman's Son, he and his wife were listening to the car radio when an announcer interrupted with the news that Todd's plane had crashed in New Mexico, killing everyone aboard. Douglas is still alive today at 96 years old. Another A-list movie star who narrowly missed being aboard Todd's plane was Elizabeth Taylor, then the producer's wife. There may have been others as well. 2 weeks after the crash, gossip columnist Earl Wilson noted that so many people were claiming to have avoided the flight that he'd heard someone joke, "Those are the same people who barely missed the Lusitania." Crazy. I actually heard that, I read somewhere that Elizabeth Taylor was going to join him on that plane, but something happened. She had a bad breakfast and didn't feel good, and she told him, oh, you go ahead. I'm just going to stay home." J. Paul Getty. Anointed the world's richest man by People magazine, Getty supposedly booked passage on the Italian luxury liner, the Andrea Doria, in July of 1956, but canceled at the last minute. On the final night of its 9-day voyage from New York to Genoa, the ship would collide with a Swedish liner and sank off Nantucket, killing 46 passengers and crew just 10 hours from its destination. Because the accident occurred so close to land, camera crews were able to reach the scene by plane and helicopter before the Andrea Doria sank, making it the first ocean liner disaster to be televised. According to Robert Lenzer's 1985 biography, The Great Getty, the Minnesota-born oil man, then living in England, had supposedly been warned by a fortune teller that he would die if he ever attempted to cross the Atlantic again. Apparently, that did the trick. Though he sometimes went so far as to make reservations, he always ended up canceling them. Getty died in 1976 at his mansion outside London at the age of 83. He left much of his vast estate, reportedly over $1 billion, to a trust that now operates the Getty Center in Los Angeles and the Getty Villa in Pacific Palisades, two of the most visited museums in the United States. Cary Grant. Now, folks, this is, wow. Cary Grant happens to be one of my favorite actors of all time. I mean, seriously, he was the dude. He was the dude, okay? Those freaking Alfred Hitchcock movies. I mean, Cary Grant, he was the real, he was a true movie star. This is really interesting that he cheated death like this. Grant and fellow actor George Murphy were scheduled to be aboard the Pan Am Clipper Yankee in February of 1943, but they lucked out when their itinerary changed at the last minute. The flying boat crashed during an attempted landing in Lisbon, killing 24 passengers and crew. Murphy, who later became a U.S. Senator from California, recalled the incident in his 1970 autobiography. Say, didn't you used to be George Murphy? Among the 15 survivors was the popular singer Jane Froman, who is badly injured in the crash. The incident figures prominently in the 1952 Froman biopic With a Song in My Heart, starring Susan Hayward. That would not be Grant's last connection to a famous disaster, incidentally. His then wife, the actress Betsy Drake, was aboard the Andrea Doria on its final voyage in 1956. Drake escaped the stricken ship, but reportedly, Drake lost nearly $250,000 worth of jewelry that Grant had given her. According to Richard Goldstein's 2003 account of the sinking and rescue, Desperate Hours, it was locked in the ship's safe, where apparently it remains to this day. So if you want to go rent the Alvin and go diving the Andrea Doria and you can retrieve the safe, you can get yourself, just think, in 1956, it was $250,000 worth of jewelry. Can you imagine what it's worth today? Holy freaking guacamole. Grant died in 1986 at the age of 82. Just a freaking class act. Cary Grant was a class act. Period. Enough said. Here we go. George Papa Bear Hallis. Everybody knows the name George Hallis. If you look at the Chicago Bear uniforms, it has GH on right on the uniforms. He was the Chicago Bears. In July 1915, George Hallis was a 20-year-old college student with a summer job at Western Electric in Cicero, Illinois, just south of Chicago. The company's annual picnic was scheduled for July 24th in Michigan City, Indiana, and employees were to be ferried there from downtown Chicago by one of several excursion steamers that plied Lake Michigan. Hallis had bought a ticket on the Eastland. As Hallis told the story in his 1979 autobiography, Hallis by Hallis, he was late, leaving to catch the ship, much to his good fortune. When I came to the river where the Eastland was docked, an appalling sight awaited. The Eastland had turned on its side. Only a few passengers had escaped. The final death toll was more than 800 men, women, and children. Because his name was on a passenger list obtained by a newspaper reporter, Hallis was briefly assumed to have been one of the missing persons. He lived on to become the founder and owner of the Chicago Bears, which he built from a company football team called the Decatur Staleys. That's home of Leah Worth, Decatur, Illinois. He coached the Bears for 40 seasons and died in 1983 at age 88. Waylon Jennings. Waylon Jennings. I knew the Texan would be here for this one. I knew he would be. So Jennings, who later gained fame as a country singer and songwriter and narrator of the Dukes of Hazzard television show, was a little-known member of Buddy Holly's backup band in 1959. The group was called the Crickets. When Holly decided to forsake their tour bus and charter a plane to fly to their next stop, Jennings gave up his... Jennings was going to fly on the plane with Buddy Holly. Jennings gave up his seat to singer J.P. Richardson. Everyone knows him as the Big Bopper. The plane crashed near Clear Lake, Iowa, killing Holly, Richardson, and Richie Valens, as well as the pilot. The tragedy was memorialized in the song American Pie by Don McLean as the day the music died. Years later, Jennings described their last jokey conversation together. And the whole reason Holly booked the flight was because their damn tour bus, the heater was broken in the tour bus, and they had been freezing their asses off for most of this bus tour. So he decided to book charter a plane. Jennings described their last jokey conversation after Holly learned he wouldn't be joining them on the plane. Holly said to him, "Well, I hope your damn bus freezes up again." And that's what Jennings said he remembered Holly telling him. "I hope your damn bus freezes up again." Jennings' reply was, "Well, I hope your old plane crashes." Waylon Jennings died in 2002 at the age of 64. Way too young. Way too young. Just an extraordinary American singer, songwriter. Great, great guy. Now, this one, holy smokes, people. Steve McQueen. Everyone knows Steve McQueen. Bullet, okay? Need I say more? The Great Escape. Steve McQueen, absolutely one of my favorite freaking actors. But check this out, okay? Steve McQueen was planning to drop by actress Sharon Tate's rented home in Los Angeles on the night of August 8th, 1969, but supposedly had a better offer from another female acquaintance, and he never showed up at Sharon's place. That proved to be a smart move because Tate, her unborn child, and 4 others were butchered shortly after midnight by members of the Manson family cult. McQueen later learned that he was on the list of celebrities that cult leader Charles Manson had marked for death, which he believed also included Tom Jones, Frank Sinatra, Elizabeth Taylor. From that point on, he packed a handgun. Yeah, you said it. You said it, the Texan. McQueen was a true life badass. He really was. Really, really freaking was. Wow. Now, this is interesting. Among others who reportedly were invited that evening to Sharon Tate's home was Denny Doherty and John Phillips, the 2 guys in the Mamas and the Papas. They were the Papas. They didn't show up. Crazy. Eleanor Roosevelt. So the future First Lady was just 2 years old in 1887 when she and her parents started on an Atlantic crossing on the White Star liner Britannic. Okay? There was the Titanic, the Britannic, and the Olympic. A day into the voyage, their ship was rammed by another liner, the Celtic, resulting in as many as 12 deaths and several horrific injuries. After helping his wife and other members of their party into a lifeboat, Eleanor's father held out his arms so that a crewman she was desperately clinging to could pass her along to safety. The crewman had to peel her little fingers off. Oh my goodness. The girl remembered. The Roosevelts returned to New York aboard the Celtic, and when her parents attempted to resume their journey, a young Eleanor refused to go with them, stayed behind with an aunt. She reportedly had a lifelong fear of water and heights as a result of that experience. She died in 1962 at age 78. So we talked about Elizabeth Taylor in the last story. She lucked out. She lucked out. Ah, the Flying Wallendas. The Flying Wallendas. The celebrated aerialist family, known as the Flying Wallendas, has faced danger on a regular basis for generations, but never more so than on July 6th, 1944. On that day, they were playing under the big top in Hartford, Connecticut, as one of the starring acts in the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. The Wallendas were on their platforms high above the crowd when Patriarch Carl, about to cross the high wire on a bicycle, spotted fire behind the bleachers below and signaled to the rest of the act, according to Stuart Nann's 2000 account, the circus fire. The Wallendas scurried down to safety, but an estimated 168 others were not so lucky and died in the fire. Also spared in the tragedy were Emmett Kelly, the famous clown, the most famous circus clown of his day, as well as future actor and TV game show regular Charles Nelson Riley, who then was just a 13-year-old boy and sitting in the audience. Although Riley would appear on many stages throughout his career, he said he couldn't bear to sit in an audience, the result of his traumatic experience in Hartford, Connecticut. Wow. Wow. That is, those are some lucky fellows, particularly Steve McQueen not showing up at Sharon Tate's house that night. I mean, there's luck, and then there's luck. That's pretty damn lucky, if you ask me. Pretty freaking lucky. Wow. Why? All right. We are going to be back immediately following this little break. Yes, I'm giving you one more little potty break. And I saved the most intriguing one for last. You won't want to miss it. We'll be right back in just a minute on the Mystery Ship.
Why do we sail upon the Mystery Ship? 'Cause we never know where we'll go next.
Well, this is where I take a moment to thank the wonderful people who support this program in whatever way it is that you support me. Whether it is sharing the loving lemons or the wonderful gold pills, you people are absolutely wonderful. Those of you who surprise me from time to time with my PayPal and Cash App, God bless you. But honestly, the most wonderful thing that you can do for a fellow like me is simply to share the show. Share the show with others who may have never heard of it, perhaps a friend, a colleague, someone at the water cooler, the guy over the back fence in your backyard that his cat keeps pissing on your your trash cans, that guy. Tell them about my show. That's how these little shows grow and become slightly bigger shows. And I do thank you because somehow, some way, the show is growing. Every time I tune in, every single time I tune in, particularly at D Live, what I love about D Live is they actually list the people who just sign. Sometimes there'll be 3, 4, 7. I think the record was 9 one time. Every time you log in, it tells you how many new people have become followers. Anyway, those of you who are sharing the program, whether it's on your Facebook or Gab or just telling a friend, I thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. You guys coming and hanging out with the other sailors, you are the freaking best. You really are. You really are. All right, this I promised you the bizarre. Okay, we're looking at some unusual things. This next article is I saved this one for Val Kimber. Val, you're probably not going to believe this, but I saved this for you. All right? These are famous celebrities who died while indisposed. Yes, celebrities who died on the toilet. What the heck is a brown Betty? Here we go, says Val Kimber. So, first up is the famous comedian Lenny Bruce. Lenny Bruce, actually it took me the longest time to acquire a taste for Lenny Bruce, but I eventually understood what he was trying to do. I can't say I'm a huge fan, but I can at least respect what it was he was trying to do. Lenny Bruce died on the toilet. He died from acute morphine poisoning because he was overdosing in the bathroom of his Hollywood Hills home. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Another very, very famous actress who died on the toilet was none other than Judy Garland. Yes. At 47 years old, in Chelsea, London, Judy Garland overdosed on barbiturates and did it on the pot. Val says he's never OD'd from pie. Well. Let's see. In Memphis, Tennessee, one of the more famous ones. In fact, I'll never forget the day this happened. Can't remember the reason exactly. August 16th of 1977. I remember, for whatever reason, we were having a big fancy dinner at my mom and dad's house in the fancy, elegant dining room with the giant back chairs and all that. And it was the day that Elvis Presley died. An overdose of, cardiac arrest cardiac arrest due to an alleged drug overdose. I have to say this. I got to share this about Elvis, all right? My sister-in-law has been trying to get me to watch this documentary. It comes on, I don't think it's Netflix. It's on one of them, Roku or something. There's this recurring documentary in which they swear up and down that Elvis did not die and that, in fact, he went in hiding. He was a CIA operative, according to the people who put this documentary together, and lived to a ripe old age and ratted out a bunch of people and really wanted to serve his country. And I know it sounds bizarre. I know it does. I'm not here to tell you one way or another definitively because I don't know. But it would explain things like a woman in Kalamazoo swearing she saw Elvis in a Burger King. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Oh, let's see. Robert Pastorelli. Now, this is if any of you remember in the 90s, a show called Murphy Brown, Candace Bergen, Robert Pastorelli was her handyman. He was always in a white set of overalls, and he always had a little something to say on each and every show. I actually knew Robert Pastorelli. He lived directly across the street from a house that I remodeled in Hollywood, owned by one of my dearest friends, right underneath the Hollywood sign. There was a time I had to one of the things we were doing there at the house required us to get the signatures of all of the neighbors around any property that touched my buddy's property, and Robert Pastorelli was one of them. Really a neat guy. He loved those old Cadillacs, like 59 Cadillacs with the insane fins, and he kind of had that in real life. He kind of had that Wolfman Jack look to him. He also, I guess was into the needle. I was there the day he died. I was working at the house when all of a sudden there was ambulances rolling up and meat wagons and all kinds of. I saw them pull the body out of the house, and I said to the policeman, "Don't tell me that's Bobby." And he goes, "Yeah, man, morphine overdose. Morphine overdose while sitting on the pot. Holy smokes. Holy smokes." Oh, man. Let's see. Is there anyone else that's like really famous that died on the pot? Yes. King Edmund Ironside. King Edmund Ironside of Great Britain. In November of the year 1016, he was stabbed to death while defecating on a toilet. You killed the king in action. Oh, my Lord. I guess he wasn't the only one. King George II of Great Britain. He collapsed shortly after attending to Oh my God, the way they word these things. Okay. King George II of Great Britain collapsed shortly after attending to his closed stool, possibly died of an aortic aneurysm. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. You know, there's so many freaking ways to go out there. Please, dear Lord, don't let me go while I'm on the pot. That's all I ask. Don't let me go on the pot. That's all I ask. The shame. I mean, the humility of it all. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Well, these others are just a little bizarre. These are famous people who died on their birthday. They died on their birthday. That just seems, I don't know. It just seems unusual to me that someone would die on their birthday. But it did happen. The famous George Washington Carver. I can see him with his playing around with his chemistry set. He died at 82 years of age on his birthday. On his birthday. Merle Haggard, the American singer and guitarist, he had one of the smoothest voices in country music. I've often joked with the Texan that Merle Haggard was the Frank Sinatra of country music. The guy, he just had the pipes, man. This guy had the freaking pipes. At 79 years of age, Merle Haggard died on his birthday. On his birthday. Jean Piccard, the American scientist and balloonist, famous for taking his balloon way high in the sky, he died on his birthday again, 79 years old. Hey, at least these people are living to ripe old ages, okay? And at least they didn't die on the toilet. The famous Italian painter, Raphael. Now, he died young, 37 years old. He died on his birthday. How many women or how many people here know, everybody knows about the Rat Pack, okay? Everybody knows about the Rat Pack, Dino and Frank, Sammy, Joey. Everybody knows the Rat Pack, but did you know that there was a woman in the Rat Pack? I want to see if you know her name. Does anybody know who the woman was that was in the Rat Pack? She was one of them. She could hang with Frankie and the boys. Who was it? Who was the one woman that was considered a member of the Rat Pack? Do you know? Well, her name was Jilly Rizzo. Jilly Rizzo. She was 75 years old at the time of her death, and she died on her birthday. Franklin Delano Roosevelt Jr., the son of the esteemed U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, he passed away on his birthday. A vice president of the United States, Levi Morton, he died on his birthday. Son of a gun, lived to be 96 years old. Crying out loud. How about this one? Machine Gun Kelly. Yes, the famous gangster, Machine Gun Kelly. Unfortunately, he spent the brunt of his life in the penitentiary. He died He died behind bars. But he died on his birthday at the ripe young age of 59 years old. Otto Kruger. Otto Kruger, a fantastic actor. Fantastic freaking actor. 89 years old. He died on his birthday. Got a couple more here. Couple of interesting ones. You'll know this one. I know nothing. John Banner. John Banner, better known as Sergeant Schultz from Hogan's Heroes. He died at 63 years of age on his birthday. As did Ingrid Bergman. Ingrid Bergman, the famous Swedish actress. And boy, she died young, 67 years old, died on her birthday. Billy Boucher, the hockey player. Hockey player. Crazy Joe Gallo, we talked about him. Died on his birthday. Everyone knows the Trogs, Wild Thing. The bassist for the Trogs, Pete Lucas, he died on his birthday. And it's often suggested that famous playwright and personal friend of T.L. Spud, William Shakespeare, it's often said that he died on his birthday, but the fact is they've never been able to corroborate that, because he died on the day that his birth certificate was filled out. What they just can't substantiate was whether his birth certificate was filled out on the day of his birthday or not. But he did die on the date that was listed on his birth certificate. So there it is. Hey, I have a little good news to share. I'm thrilled to death to look up here in the chat and see our dear brother Gary Flessner chatting away, folks. That means he not only has his tablet and has his phone, they are communicating with one another, and he is here, live here tonight. Gary Flessner, it is great to see your smiling face there in the chat. Fantastic, my friend. Fan-freaking-tastic. We're going to sneak out a little early tonight, but I do have one other bit of really, really wonderful news to share. Anyone who has been keeping an eye on the news may have learned that yesterday a tornado, yes, a freaking tornado, touched down in Michigan. It landed 3 miles away from our dear sister Artist 61. It's funny. When I got a text this morning from our dear sister Kate, BMG Kate, Bad Zoot. She says, "Hey, is you think Artist is okay? Because is Steph okay? Because there was a tornado there, and I had heard something about it. So I got online and I looked, and I saw where the touchdown spot was, and I compared it to where Artist lives, and I said, no, Kate, it landed an hour west of her. But then I started wondering and worrying a little bit, so I reached out to Steph, and she said, man, you're not going to believe it, dude. It landed 3 miles away from us. She sent me photographs today of the area in her neighborhood. It's leveled, like blank slab. The building completely gone. The building was last seen floating down the river. So the good news is our dear sister Steph is just fine. And so is our sister Laura Dora. So thank God for looking out for our people. It is a wonderful thing. Speaking of wonderful things, I want to thank the wonderful people who donated to this program tonight. God bless you kindly. You are sweethearts of the rodeo. Seriously. Thank you, everyone over there in Lemon Land. Let me do a couple of things here to show how thankful I am. I'm going to release the scratching. Over there at Pilled Foxhole. So start scratching those lottery tickets over there. Do it. Scratch those lottery tickets. See what you can do. I wish you the best of luck. Hit 'em hard, baby. Hit 'em hard. Willie Fix It won a gold pill from the scratching. Over here in Lemon Land, I really, really, really want to thank you beautiful people over here. You have Amethyst Cat, Val Kimber, and Gloria Paddock. You guys have been absolutely wonderful tonight. Thank you. Actually, everyone over there has been wonderful tonight. Here's a treasure chest. Let's put a little something special in there for you. Yes, here it comes. Courtesy of your brother Zoe. Yes, can you see that? Can you see that right there? I just loaded it up. It's coming your way. All of you over there in Lemon Land, I wish you the best of luck. Here comes the treasure chest. Good luck over there. Good luck. Good luck. All right. So we've got good news. Gary Flessner is back in the chat. We know that our sister Steph is doing fine. That is awesome. Steph asked me if I would kindly remind everyone to please continue to pray for her friend, the young woman who recently, let me pull it up here. We prayed for her a couple of weeks ago. This is the young lady. And she's got children. That's her family. Her name is Carrie. She really, really needs the prayers right now, folks. This young lady is up against it. Would you please keep young Carrie and her family in your prayers? Pray that God wraps his loving arms around this woman and delivers her. Please pray for Carrie and her family. Congratulations to Jayla, 17, top of the heap tonight. Way to go, Jayla. Way to go, kiddo. Val Kimber is on the list. T.L. Spud, racking them up. Gloria Paddock and Amethyst Cat. Wonderful. Wonderful to all of you people. Thank you kindly. I freaking love all of you guys. I love all of you guys. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me tonight. I greatly, greatly appreciate you hanging out with your brother Zoe. Hey, even I want a gold bill. How about them apples? Even I want a gold bill. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. All right, my friends, your brother Zoe is going to sneak on out of here. I got to get up early in the morning. I got a very, very, very busy day tomorrow. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of your week. I will be seeing you on Saturday. For my classic rock program. I look forward to you being there. Come and join us exclusively at Build Foxhole and D Live. And next Sunday night will be the platform versus platform contest. So please come join us then. That'll be 6 p.m. Sunday night Pacific time. It is always a gas. We always have a laugh riot when we do the platform challenge. Good night, everyone. God bless. Say a prayer for our dear sister Carrie and her family. I'll talk to you all later. Good night from Medford, Oregon.